But we begin this morning with the fact that kids are all back in school now. Of course, that also means a very dangerous situation for them. Nationally, thousands of kids are injured, some even killed while crossing near school facilities or off school buses. Last year alone, 35 children were injured in New York by drivers going around stopped school buses. That has many parents taking extra care.
I don't let my younger daughter cross the street. I have someone pick her up because I'm afraid.
AAA is posting banners throughout the state warning drivers. More school buses are also armed with cameras now to try to catch offenders. And there will also be, of course, extra police patrols. So, of course, we ask that you please be careful. And joining us now to talk about that is Robert Sinclair. He's with AAA New York and a frequent guest on our show. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You were at the event yesterday where the details were laid out about what's going to be done. Now, I know your organization is really mounting a safety campaign to try to protect kids heading back to school. Tell us what you're doing.
Well, this is the 70th year, in fact, that we've done this campaign, Schools Open, Drive Carefully. When you consider that the #1 cause of death for a child aged 4 to 15 is being struck by a vehicle when they are walking or bicycling, we find the need to alert drivers to the fact that, all the kids are returning to school en masse, 1.5 million students in our region, and we've sort of become accustomed to lighter traffic during the summer with the kids out of school and the parents on vacation. So the need is for drivers to be extra cautious as school returns.
And the statistics are pretty mind-numbing, aren't they?
Yeah, overall, 5% of all pedestrian deaths are children aged 4 to 15 nationwide. It's 10,000 injuries a year, roughly 250 deaths a year. But in the city of New York, from 2011 to 2013, the last years for which we have data, more than 4,500 kids were injured or killed as a result of being struck by a vehicle when they were walking or bicycling. On Long Island, it was upwards of 200, and the rest of the region about 200 as well.
And every injury or death is unfortunate, but it's really just awful to witness when it's a child that's involved.
There's nothing more innocent than a child, and we should do everything we can to protect them. We're repulsed when we hear about abuse cases, but we should be as equally as repulsed when a child is struck and killed, especially if the driver is at fault. So that's why we're warning drivers to be extra careful around school zones, keep their speed down, keep their speed even below the lower limits that are in school zones, around playgrounds, that sort of thing.
Because you never want to be the person that we're talking about in some news story, some tragic event like that. We hate going to these, and it's horrible for everyone involved who knows the families. You don't want to be that driver.
No, you sure don't. And sometimes the circumstances are unavoidable. We all know that children run out in the street chasing balls and that sort of thing. But if it's a situation that can be prevented, it should be.
Well, an example of that is some of the video we just showed there. That was back in April, done by one of our reporters at CBS 2, our sister station, Jennifer McLogan. It shows, cars going right around the school buses with the stop sign down, the flashing lights. And these school buses in Suffolk happen to be armed with school cameras to catch them. This is really hard to understand when people go around this. This is a well-known law, is it not?
It is the law that if you see a school bus stop with the red lights flashing, and a lot of them have the fold-out stop signs as well, but if you see those flashing red lights, you have to stop. And that school bus, if you're in the New York State Thruway and you see a school bus on the other side of the road and it's by the side of the road with its red lights flashing, you have to stop. Imagine. Even
there's a lot of confusion sometimes.
Yeah.
People say, oh, I didn't think it applied to me.
No,
my feeling is if I see a school bus, I'm already slowing down.
Yeah, and the youngsters that get off these buses, sometimes they're accustomed to just running out across the street. So if you violate that rule, you're in the chance of doing some serious damage to a poor innocent child.
What do you think about putting cameras on the bus? You think all the school buses should have cameras, perhaps?
It's a situation where you'll be able to go after a person who might have committed the misdeed, but it's more punitive than preventive. It's far better to prevent the crime than to try and solve it or issue some sort of penalty for it. If you are, conceivably the child is already injured or killed if they have that camera there and they need to go after you. So when we see some sort of problem on the roads, it's one of the 3 E's that we engage in to affect some sort of change: engineering, education, or enforcement. In this case, education is very important.
Well, right now with the school buses, because there's no one ticketing them unless they're stopped at the scene and ticketed if there's an officer nearby. Right now they just get a warning letter from the State Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah, that's the case with quite a few laws, in fact, that the infraction has to be witnessed by law enforcement personnel for them to issue a summons.
Well, what other safety measures do you think we need to protect the kids as we go back to school?
Well, without a doubt, just being very cautious when we're in these areas. That certainly you shouldn't be distracted by a cell phone, even if it's hands-free. It's the mental distraction that's a big problem. Texting, without a doubt, is something that should not be engaged in. You know, we just really have to be a lot more cautious. There's just so many things you can do when we have such an intense urban environment in many cases, and even the suburban environment is such that it creates a lot of problems.
And another factor can be the road conditions. Explain how that can lead to these tragedies.
Without a doubt. Drivers might see a pothole or something and swerve to avoid it and run into a car or pedestrian as a result, and the pavement condition in our area is very poor. The Road Improvement Project in Washington, D.C. says that probably 65% of our pavement is in fair or poor condition. And of course, this gets a lot worse during the winter when we have the pothole season.
Yeah, we're headed that way now.
Yeah, we're headed that way, and we need to be prepared. To its credit, New York City has allocated an additional $478 million for lane resurfacing, and that hopefully will mean that the roads will be better and we won't have those crashes caused by bad roads.
Well, meanwhile, you got the national issue. The highway fund that pays for fixing all these roads has yet to fully be funded going forward. What is the situation with that now?
There has not been a long-term highway build since 2005. It's all been 5-month extensions, 6-month extensions, 2-month extensions. The current one will expire October 31st. There is all sorts of cockamamie schemes that the Congress is thinking about to come up with the extra $16 billion that we need everywhere.
$16 billion.
$16 billion that we need every year to fully fund the road projects that we have in this country. We think a small increase in the gasoline tax, 5 cents, 10 cents a gallon, is the easiest, best way, most effective way of doing it.
Well, it would be the easiest way to get the bucks, but of course then you'd be hearing from the drivers. That's the dilemma facing Congress and the need that's present for all of us, though, who drive these roads. Be careful. The kids are back in school. Robert Sinclair with AAA New York, thanks for stopping in and reminding us to slow down around the schools.
Thanks for having me.